3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am your host for today, and I bring you a film that I came across on a review on YouTube. That the way that it was described was like, what the fuck? So I had to search it out and find it on YouTube, and I watched it, and man, was it grisly for its time, and definitely not your typical kitten feature. So let's see what IMDb says about the. Well, first, before I go on about IMDb, Felidae is actually a crime fiction novel by a German-Turkish writer by the name of Akif Princi. It's from 1989 originally. The main character is a cat named Francis who investigates the murders of several cats in a big city in Germany. And there are 8 books in the series. So, yeah, I was kind of surprised.
Is there any versions of those books?
But let's see, Felidae.
I know a tiny bit of German, but not to read a book.
A cat must investigate brutal murders of other cats in a neighborhood he has moved into with his owner. Which is not really saying a lot. But I do want to say that some of the English dub actors in here are Carrie Elwes, who played the Dread Pirate Roberts in The Princess Bride as Francis, George Hearn as Praetorius, John Hurt as Pascal and Praetorius, Michael Ironside as Jasaja, Michael Madsen as Bluebeard, and Christopher Plummer as Joker. And this is an animated feature.
I have a pretty decent cast for an animated feature that we heard about.
Let's go into first impressions. Tammy, was this a first time watch for you?
Yeah, of course it was. I never knew about this until you.
And we were both kind of half asleep yesterday, so we ended up watching it twice, didn't we?
Yeah, Diego got a kick out of it the first time.
So, what was your first impression of this movie?
The second time I watched it, I loved better. It was interesting, it was like a little mystery thing, and it was kind of neat, that Francis is being like a detective cat, and trying to put all this together and figure all this out, and has some wacky ass dreams, that's for sure. He has some strange friends too, but yeah, it was. I don't want to say cute because it wasn't kidsy, but
yeah.
But it was. I don't know how to describe it because it wasn't kidsy, but it was kind of,
It was kind of on the order of like something that you would see from like Don Bluth or something like that, like All Dogs Go to Heaven or Secret of Nim, a little bit more darker in nature.
Yeah, kind of. Where it's not really cute, but it's kind of, neat,
Yeah, but in 1994, do you really think that this was garnered towards a kid audience?
No.
I hope it wasn't. Wait, it was.
Well, it is animated, so
Yeah,
but
well, heavy metal's animated. You think that's for kids?
but did you enjoy it?
Sausage
Yeah.
Party is animated too.
Okay. Headed over
So
to
is
you.
New Crazy Nights.
Headed over to you, Boris. Was this a first time watch for you?
Yes, yes, it was my first time, and I must say it was definitely a very unusual and very interesting movie experience. Some details were kind of gruesome even to me, and
Yep.
I could handle it since I have seen a lot of horror movies and stuff, but
There's one scene I went, ew.
uh, sorry, what did you say?
I said there was one scene that I was like, ew.
Yeah, we are probably thinking of the same one.
Not really.
Uh, Yeah, so I did find myself thinking that if someone saw this as a small child going into it thinking
Oh,
it
they have
would be
nightmares for
some
life.
right,
Watching horror.
yeah, pretty much.
I wouldn't have, but yeah, it's definitely not a kids movie.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend it to any children. And
I mean, if you cut out a few parts, it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, it's still not like a kids show, but like little older kids could watch it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, I just say they just have some scenes that are just kind of like a little over the top.
uh, yeah,
But yeah, I
but
agree.
it was definitely interesting to watch, and also since I have been through quite several situations of people calling me childish because I liked some anime or something like that. People who go like, "What everything animated is for kids." This is something I could use as a counter argument, even though I know this is not anime, but still, people who say things like that, they usually cannot even tell the difference between Japanese anime and something like this.
It's geared towards kids. Anime, on the other hand, is not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, of course, we know that a lot of anime
I'm
isn't for
50 years old.
children, but
And I fucking love anime, and I don't give a shit who knows.
yeah, same here. Although it's
I
been a
don't
while.
care. Call me childish. Well, I'm a kid at heart. What do you fucking expect?
Yeah, and I must say, uh,
Never
this
apologize for who you are,
definitely. And
unless you
one
need to
thing,
apologize for who you are. But that's a different story.
wait, what?
Just saying, like Hitler needed to apologize for who he was. So you know.
Ah, okay, in that case, yeah. Uh, but one thing I wanted to say, this movie reminded me of a novel I read once, which I think would be interesting to mention. Dodie Smith's novel, The Starlight Barking. Not sure if anyone here is familiar with it, but that's a sequel to the novel that Disney's 101 Dalmatians was based on. So some people may not be familiar with that, but yeah, 101 Dalmatians was a novel first, and then there
Oh,
was.
it's better.
Uh,
It showed those nasty dogs in the light it shed.
Sorry, once again, I didn't understand what you
I
said.
said Cruella was better, and it showed those dogs in the nasty light that it should have been.
Oh, okay, but what I was going to say is that the novel 101 Dalmatians has this sequel called The Starlight Barking, which was never adapted into any movie. If you are familiar with sequels to 101 Dalmatians, like
Yeah,
the
102 Dalmatians.
yeah, that or the animated 101 Dalmatians 2 Patches London Adventure, those two movies, neither of those movies is anything like this novel, The Starlight Barking, which contains some quite weird elements. Also, there is something about dogs investigating a mystery that may or may not be a crime, and it involves elements like aliens and talk about nuclear wars and things like that. So yeah, the writer who wrote the 101 Dalmatians had ideas like this on mind for how the story continued, which I thought was kind of weird, interesting to read, but definitely weird for people who are accustomed to 101 Dalmatians being what we see in movies. So yeah, this movie that we are discussing now kind of reminded me of that.
Except with cats, and cats are better and dogs suck.
Well, personally, I like both cats and dogs. Maybe I slightly lean more towards cats too, but I do like
Cat
dogs
dogs
too.
drool, cats rule.
Yeah, Howard Bound. I know that quote.
I'm sorry, what?
Isn't that a quote from the movie Howard Bound?
Is it? Didn't know
Uh,
that.
well, unless it existed even before that movie, but that's where I know it
I
from.
honestly do not know. I have no idea. I
Uh,
know I've heard it and I liked it, but I have no idea where it came from.
that's an old Disney live action movie. I
I've
like.
heard of it. I never watched it.
Oh, I see. I liked that one a lot as a kid.
I wasn't a kid when it came out. And again, it's a dog movie.
It has two dogs and a cat.
Close enough.
So, Kroll, was this a first time watch for you?
One thing, yes. Want to say one more thing. The one thing I like about the cats versus dogs is why are the cats the bad guys? I know they're intelligent geniuses, but why do they have to be the bad guys?
Oh
Anyways.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways,
I must say I had the same thought while watching that movie.
okay. I mean, sometimes cats be assholes, yes, but so can dogs. And they're super.
Yeah, yeah. We shouldn't
Because
generalize.
most people are dog lovers.
Yeah, most people are stupid, so.
Okay, most people are stupid, but not for that reason.
I didn't say it was that reason, but, just saying correlation. Okay, so yeah, this is my first time watch. And when you first mentioned it, I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be a fucking horrible animated movie that's gonna suck so bad. It's gonna be like the movie we watched 3 weeks ago, but animated and worse. That was my thoughts because Dave has a. Okay, so some of his films aren't too bad, but they definitely have a different flair than I usually like. Um, but I honestly say, from the moment I started watching it, I started liking it. And I mean, just the whole animation. I'm like, this may have been made in 1994, the same year my daughter was made, and was born. So it reminded me a lot of 80s type cartoon. It looked a lot like the 80s cartoons. So right off the bat, I like that. So I like the animation. The voices seemed really cool. The human definitely Whoever did the human definitely made him seem like a kind of a dumbbell, which I thought was cute the way they did that, and it was kind of cool how it was the whole movie was centered around the cats and their thoughts on humans and everything else, can openers and like
Oh, I love that.
What?
and even our main character didn't really get the term either at first until he said they're only good for opening our cans. Like, oh, can opener.
Oh,
Okay.
hell, the main character's human was not even a can opener.
Well, he might have been. Well, he seemed to cook food for the cat. He seemed to treat his cat pretty damn well. So, yeah, so I don't think he did open him. But, yeah. Even our main character started calling him a can opener. Yeah, I don't think he was either. Um, But yeah, I mean, as I went along, I mean, the first thing they show is they see a cat dead, and you can always see it was dead and has been murdered. So yeah, there's definitely some things that we have to change for kids. It wasn't too gruesome, but still. Um, so yeah, I love it. It was really good. It was entertaining. There was definitely funny scenes. I laughed quite a few times. They had a really horrible joke at a scene that wasn't funny, but I'm sticking with it sometimes. So and Boris saw it or he didn't laugh, so he sucks.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, Kroll, but something is wrong with your audio. It's coming out very glitchy and it's very difficult to distinguish what you're saying. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
you were
David.
a little muffled. I just didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I was struggling to distinguish the words, so
I
I'm
don't know
sorry.
what you guys want me to do about it.
Uh,
But is that it then?
No, but you can't hear me, so I guess so.
well, I can hear you, but it's kind of difficult to distinguish what you are saying.
Just waiting on Kroll here. Did did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Mm, huh, well, maybe yes, but right now I forgot what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Diego says that he would have been a better sleuth.
Well, I must say I did kind of wonder where Francis supposedly learned how to do all the detective work and stuff like that.
Oh, he
Like
was a
he,
good detective. I was just being funny because Diego seemed to be paying attention to the movie somewhat when we were watching it.
ah, yeah. Hmm.
so there we go. There he is.
I was sitting here wondering when you were going to pay attention.
Oh,
Can you
uh,
hear me now?
We
uh,
can hear you now.
yeah.
Okay.
Now it's better.
I switched phones.
Okay. Yeah, we
Hopefully it
should
doesn't
hear you better.
kick me out like it always does.
You were muffled. That's
Yeah, I heard. Boris, thank you very much for telling me. And screw you, Dave.
what you were.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks for fucking telling me. Jerk.
Anyways,
Can I finish what I was saying?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Boris, slightly jerked because he never answered my joke or said anything about it.
Uh, so sorry, did you say I was a jerk?
Yes, you did not say anything about my joke I put in the chat.
Oh, a joke. Well, in the
Neither
chat,
did Dave, but Dave's a jerk anyways. We know that.
uh, I only see you said let me in. I don't see any.
No,
Talking
in
about the actual
the in the group, yeah, in the Facebook chat
Oh,
before
oh,
we got on the movie podcast.
oh, let's see. I probably missed it. I'm sorry. I'll check it out now.
But anyways, yeah, I really I don't know how much you guys heard, but I loved the movie. I thought there was parts that was very funny. It was definitely not a typical Dave movie. Not saying they're all bad, but they definitely have their own brand. Um, but yeah, this was a good animated movie. I really enjoyed it and already have recommended it to my sister before I even got onto the podcast. So yeah, if you haven't seen it out there and you like murder mysteries with a little bit of twist because it's cats, check it out because it's really well done and it doesn't become obvious uh, who is who the bad guy is, in like a lot of movies do. So I think they did a really great job of keeping you in suspense of who it was until they revealed.
And is that pretty much it then?
That is all.
Okay. Well, and I happen to agree with you, Carl.
That's
I
okay.
was when I first heard about this, like I said before, I heard about it through a review site, and I'm not exactly sure who it was, but the way they described it, it definitely sounded like it was up my alley, but I didn't know how bad or good it was going to be. So I checked it out, and I actually really enjoyed it for some reason. Uh, it just the gore, the things that the cats did, and I mean, uh, you actually get to see uh, our main character, you know, go and do the Humpty Dumpty. So, but yeah, I had a blast with this, and um, I'm glad that I brought it to the table. Uh, it's definitely got some interesting aspects to the film, and I was entertained. So that being said, we'll wait here for Crow. Here he goes again.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. I actually typed that I'd be right back.
Yeah,
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I
yeah,
saw it.
and now I had to turn you guys down. But yeah, Dave, Philip, I heard okay, but Dave, you were super low. And if you were low, I'm sure it couldn't hurt Tammy at all. So I don't know
Oh,
why. But
well,
stick,
Tammy is muted for some reason.
right. Well, she always is when she's not talking.
yep.
But I mean, but when she does talk, she's super low anyway. So,
Well, let's get
but
into
Dave,
yeah.
you now got that song stuck in my head.
Which one?
The Humpty Dance is the chance to do the Humpty Hump. I heard that before I rebooted.
Ah, well, let's get into the plot here. So we have a cat that has just moved into a new neighborhood, and
What a dump!
we find out, yeah, oh yeah, in
That's what the
fact,
cat
the way
said. I like the cat right away.
he describes it, the way he describes it, and he walks right onto a cockroach, and of course, his owner is in fact like an ex-Egyptian, like I would have to say treasure hunter.
No, he said
Archaeologist.
archaeologist.
Archaeologist. Well, to me,
Well,
archaeologist and treasure hunter are two.
no, they're not the same at all. Archaeology is a real profession, whereas treasure hunting is not.
Well, they kind of go together, but
They do, but again, there's a
Well,
big difference.
sometimes maybe.
yeah,
Indiana Jones was an architect, was a archaeologist, but he seemed more like a treasure hunter.
well, and the story begins like right off the bat because he walks through the place, realizes it's a toxic dump, and he walks into his backyard and meets his first friend who's just kind of mean out in the backyard.
I was worried the cat was gonna try to. I didn't even know it was a cat at first. I'm like, is that a cat or a dog? Like it was just so big, and yeah, it was just and he's not worried about it, but I was a little worried about the cat because it was just huge. But
And it
yeah,
turns out there is a tomcat in his backyard that has had its throat slit.
it looks like it's sleeping, only it's not sleeping.
But it had some blood around it, and Bluebeard, as we figure out, that is what that other cat is called. He's got one eye, and he kind of looks like something from another dimension.
It
But
looks like a mutated dog.
a little bit.
But yeah, and then of course he says it's a can opener, and of course, for instance, like a can opener couldn't have done this, and blah blah blah. It's like can opener, and he's like describe more, and then he just basically says the can opener is what he calls humans.
That's
But
what
he's like these are claw marks, not slash marks. He's like, oh, you were a smart ass.
uh,
And of course, he's wrong because he's not a, for instance, not a smart ass. He was just very smart.
Now, is
So
Bluebeard
when he called him a smart aleck, that was correct, but he was not a smart ass.
is
A
Bluebeard
smart ass is like
a cat in the subtitled version, Boris?
sorry, what did you say? Is Bluebeard?
Is Bluebeard a sarcastic cat in the subtitled version?
Well, I didn't notice, or at least didn't memorize that much sarcasm on his part. Also, his name was Blaubart, which is the German version of the name Bluebeard.
Well, he was Bluebeard in here.
I like a little bit better. It's like a
I
pirate name.
like better, and he actually, when he first meets Francis, he actually says, "And I've met more, I've banged more babes than Henry VIII."
Oh my!
Yeah, he
Uh,
did. That was funny.
yeah, I don't think there was anything similar to that in the original.
See what I'm saying, dude? You missed out.
Uh, yeah, seems so. I didn't expect it would be something like that.
Well, in any case, him and Bluebeard go off into the neighborhood, and they run into another cat and his two minions that follow him called Kong, which is a much larger cat.
Yeah, now this was definitely a fucking mutated dog.
Uh,
He looked like that.
From another
I think
planet.
he looked like a
Ac-
dog.
actually, I thought that was a dog.
No,
Yeah,
he was a cat.
he was
He was supposed to be a cat.
I thought it was a dog the first too. It was huge.
Yeah, exactly. But he's supposed to be a cat.
yeah, he is a cat, but he's, in fact, he says something about hey, you've been picking the runt of the letters in the gay section of the neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
because, I guess he said he said something about you joined.
Yeah,
You
he's
finally joined the other
insinuating
You
team.
and
that.
me have a date later, you sweet
You
thing.
finally joined the other team. Yeah. Although he said that, but he wasn't meaning anything like he wanted to be with him. He wanted to They wanted to mess them up. So they kind of led you to believe that it was one thing, but it was something else.
Yeah, which I wonder
Because
if in this
you
day and
got to remember, this was made in 1994. In 1994, it wasn't common for them to make a movie about gay cats or whatever. So yeah, now that'd be perfectly. I wouldn't say normal, but it would be usual.
yeah, I'm not sure if this would have been made in this day and age of the LGBT
Oh,
community.
I think they would. I mean, yeah, certain parts of it they wouldn't like, but parts of it they'd probably love.
But yeah, so and then I think Bluebeard goes. Oh wait, no. Um, they come across the body of another cat eventually, but that's not before Bluebeard goes off uh, on his own tangent, and Francis actually does some more uh, neighborhood, uh, getting to know the neighborhood, where he actually has a dream, I think, of a faceless man.
No, the nightmare was when he was home.
Yeah, the nightmare was when he was home, but it was after this faceless man, a nightmare. Uh,
Yeah, they never really explained how he was having nightmares like that. I guess just
I
had some
Wicked ass dreams.
I can't remember what it's called when he had dreams
Premonitions.
that have happened, but it's
uh,
happened
pro
before. It happened not before they happened, but after they had happened.
Maybe
Um,
precognitive dreams.
no, precog is before it happens. That's
uh,
dreams of the future. I used to have those all the time. It's
prophetic
dreams of the
dream
past.
maybe, or maybe not.
Yeah, it's definitely some type of ESP. So I guess that's what they gave the cat, which is pretty interesting. But
Oh yeah.
they never really touch upon that in the story. But that's obviously what he has, because how else could he
Yeah,
have had
I
nightmares
think
about things that have happened before he was even.
I think it was somewhat implied that those dreams were of paranormal origin, but they didn't
Right, that's
really
what I'm
explain
saying.
it.
They were a form of ESP, which I can't think of their names at the moment. But yeah, because I mean, we've seen plenty of movies where humans have that.
Huh.
Oh yeah. So he has the dream, and then he wakes up and he hears like some
One
chant.
Night in Soho was one of them.
He hears some chanting, and he realizes that. And I didn't know until like the third time that I watched this that it was on the third floor of his actual building. That this
They're a little slow.
whole cult of cats was actually jumping into this lightning bolt, getting zapped to become born again cats in this like Cloudantis cult, which we find out who Cloudantis is later on, but this
Dun
cult
dun dun.
is actually led by a dude named Joker,
Dun dun dun.
which is actually voiced by the Sound of Music Captain Von Trapp.
They should have had Mark Hamill do it. Ah,
That would have been priceless. But that was not the case. And in fact, his friend Bluebeard was amongst these cats that were listening to the Cloudantis dude, Joker, who was basically. It looked like he had his foot on a pedal, which brought this lightning, like, and zapped these cats. And Francis went up on the evidently fourth floor now, and some crumblings fell down while dude was speaking, and he let him know that he was there by doing that, and he ran. And as he ran, he ran away from these cats. So he was hopping rooftops and whatnot, and then he fell into a window that held a female cat that was blind from birth. And he kind of has kind of a moment with her.
Did you read my joke about
What did
the
y'all
fact
think
that
about? What did y'all think about that whole cult thing and the meeting of this female cat?
Mm,
I thought it was just well done. It was very intricate, and it really made it feel like it's a human movie, but with cats, and it's really neat idea. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was quite a chase that he had, and quite a few parts where you think he's gonna get caught. I mean, he's got to get away somehow, but yeah, he just barely gets away. They have a nice chase scene. I really enjoyed it, and of
Which is
course
kind of
he,
funny.
he literally falls in with Felicity, pun intended. I really thought they were going to be a thing for a little bit because she was she was seemed like a really sweet cat, really nice, and I thought she was going to be kind of like a love interest for him in the movie. And I don't want to spoil anything, but it did not happen.
mm, yeah, what happened with her really sucked, and it was, as you already implied to me, that was the most gruesome and the most shocking
But
moment
no,
of the
that was
movie.
not the most gruesome scene. That wasn't the scene where I looked away.
Okay, then I don't know which scene you are referring to, but
I was one of the cats on the tables and the way they were cut into.
oh, yeah, that was nasty too.
Yeah, that was the scene. Not that
Uh,
the scene of her was all that great, but I didn't turn from that. And I made my jokes, which when I first said "rest in peace," I meant it, but then that joke popped in my head, and I said it.
uh,
Head.
yeah, actually, I did see what you said, but at first, before you pointed out it was a joke, it completely went over my head that there was a pun. But now that I realized it was a good one, I responded on Facebook. You can see it later. But yeah, what I was going to say, the whole idea of cats having religions and cults and stuff, that was kind of amusing. But
We don't actually find out why she gets killed, though.
Uh,
We find out why most of them get killed. We don't find out why Felicity gets killed.
I think it
uh,
was because it was trying. I think her death was trying to throw off everything because every other cat was male.
uh,
So though the main killer was in fact trying to make sure that he was that his evil doings, were going to get caught or whatnot, because he wanted people to know. Uh,
I think
Well, he wanted our main character to know.
uh,
yes,
I think since his goal was to create a population of perfect cats, and
super cat.
yeah, and he was trying to prevent all cats with flaws from procreating, and Felicity, or in German version, Felicitas was her name. She was blind, so that's probably why
I'm not blind. I just can't see.
yeah.
Of
Uh,
course, right after that, she does say the word blind. So
yeah, so I think that was why she got killed.
Well,
Mm,
I think
I liked her character.
because she knew too much. Because she even told uh, Francis that she the little bit that she knew from.
Yeah, she said she kept seeing pictures, which obviously was memories of what had happened. So he's like, I don't think you were born blind. I think it happened to you. He was
Uh,
with you.
And as he was walking, as he was, um,
hmm.
so in order to get into that, I need to talk about the next part because after he uh, talks with Felicity, Bluebeard shows up. Bluebeard says, "Hey, why did you run? They only wanted to talk to you." It's like, and I'm like thinking in my mind, well, you could have, you could, they could have said something, instead of making it seem like they were going to kill his ass, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if that was the truth, or I don't know, or it might be the truth the way Movie Bear sees it, because he just seems kind of a little dumb, a little dim-witted, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but Bluebeard ends up taking to him to see this um, this cat by the name of Pascal, who appears to be this very intelligent cat with computer skills.
oh yeah,
And the other thing is, while they were
and let's not forget in 1994 there was no internet.
while they were discovering these bodies, uh, Francis found out that these cats were killed in the excitement and throes of sex. So that was something. I mean, these cats were killed at the climax of their excitement. Uh,
Uh, yeah, as you know, in French they call orgasm little death, so this was death that's
and
not
Yes,
so little.
yes, I did know that.
Harley Davidson got some screen time during that moment. Did you notice on the motorcycle it said Harley Davidson?
Yes.
So,
Um,
Huh.
yeah, like I said, he had good computer skills, and of course we think, wow, he made that database of all those cats and everything, um, and then like I said, this is without the internet. There was no internet in 1994, so
Huh.
would not have been in the movie.
Yeah,
With that,
interesting.
the internet. Well, the internet might have just came out in '94. I don't know, but still, yeah, it was not in the movie.
well,
So
yeah, and I saw on the computer it said cat base. I thought that was kind of cute.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, on the screen it said cat base, and then he pulled up the genealogy of the cats. Which, if you know anything about the Catholic Church and the Mormon Church, they are very good at genealogy. So that kind of
Uh,
reminded me of either one of those.
yeah, actually,
Foundation.
genealogists are also very much prominent in the Bible.
But in any case, we have
I'm not a
that.
theologist, but I've definitely studied some of the Bible and a few other books.
We start hearing what Felidae is through Pascal, which I do believe Francis does come across more and more as the film goes on, because evidently there was a human experiment, a feline experimentation going on of and with cats at one point in time with this Zevo character, along with this uh, genealogy dude. I forget the name
Uh,
of the guy.
Criterius.
Well,
Praetorian
Praetorian, but
in English.
Oh,
something with an M. Uh,
Yeah, it's
last
Praetorian in English. After Boris said it, I remembered.
mm,
Yeah. Well, in any case, it turns out that the cat that the serum that was being worked on for this race of super cats uh, actually regenerated a cat that was a stray cat at the time. But apparently, they have run out of cats and funding. Um,
And he became a drunk.
and Claudantis was the name of this cat. So,
So this is where you hear of the first hear of what Klondike is. You heard of his cult, but this is where you first actually find out who he was.
correct.
And I love how he says if he even existed and stuff.
Well, and during this first meeting of Pascal, Francis actually asks, "Okay, is there any way that we can figure out what kind of cats are being targeted for being killed?" And he finds out that they are all male cats, except for the latest victim, which just so happens to be Felicity. And he's like, "What? I was just with her an hour
An
ago."
hour ago, and he takes off like a bat out of hell to go check on her. And sure enough, he looks down the skylight, and there she is. And it cost her a head and shoulders.
Yeah,
Oh my.
I did not promise
Yeah.
that heads would not roll. So,
Yeah,
they,
she was beside herself.
Oh fucking hell.
well, at least
I
we
stole
know.
these jokes from I stole these jokes from 8 Men in a Duffel Bag. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I must say, if it was a movie with humans, I would have probably found it a lot funnier. But when it's a cat or a dog, it's kind of sadder.
But yeah, that was actually kind of graphic and gruesome because there was quite a little bit of blood and some separation between the head and shoulders. So, oh, after that is when Francis starts to think, oh well, maybe I've been watched all this time, and you realize that there are some birds actually watching that evidently take off and go somewhere, and in fact there is a cat that is that starts to flirt with Francis later on, and she says, and he asks her, uh, how did you know my name? She said, a little birdie told me. So,
Oh, that was the other girl. I didn't really like her.
Uh, in,
I guess Francis did, but
i-
yeah,
Interesting noticing. I thought.
Francis got a little naughty with her. That's
I said Francis got some pussy.
Literally.
at least he got some.
Uh, well, I must say, while I was watching the movie, I thought that second female cat was maybe there to lure him in to get him excited so that he could get killed in the
Yeah, I
middle.
was a little worried about that too. I kind of thought that she had something to do with it. Like
I thought so
she,
too.
yeah,
Here to
she definitely came across as an evil. I can't say
I
bitch
was
because
waiting for something to happen to him, you know?
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
knew he wasn't gonna get killed, but I was expecting there to be an attempt.
well, and of course, uh, sometime after that is that part where he starts to, you know, realize that someone had been watching him. He actually uh, does, in fact, run into Kong again,
Oh, you know, I think this is the first time we've ever had a pussy dick.
and Kong.
It's a pussy cat that's a private dick. You get that, Boris? I don't know if they call it that though, but they call investigators private dicks here in America.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I figured I'd tell you.
Oh wait. Didn't in the movie Fractured, didn't Anthony Hopkins make a joke like that?
He did. He did.
Yeah. Now I see the point of that joke.
Yes.
Although I found it hilarious anyway, but I wasn't familiar with that.
Well, and Kong actually ended up chasing Francis for a little bit, up until
He
uh,
finds another dead
another
cat,
cat, which happened to be a female cat,
and
another
his
female
and
cat,
his favorite female
Solitaire.
cat.
I believe the cat's name was Solitaire, and that's what stopped the chase. And
Yeah,
he,
he was. Oh, was he mad? And at first he goes to, he's like, "Who did this?" And he looks at him and he's like, "You." And he's like, "No, you didn't have time for this." So he wasn't a complete idiot. He wasn't too bright, but he wasn't completely stupid. Um, you know. And then of course, he ends up seeing something in the bushes, and he's like,
well,
automatically assuming it's the murderer.
his minions actually showed that they had some brains there for a moment, uh, and they said, "Hey, they might be on the highway or some shit like that." So they went
No,
off.
what they said was there's only three more houses until the highway. That's where we'll catch him. And the boss boy said yeah, and that's when they all took off. And
Now there was in fact another cat that showed up here.
that's what I said. That's who they were chasing, because they just assumed he was the murderer because he was hiding in the bushes. But he wasn't the murderer. He was just he knew about the murders, and he was kind of doing his own little investigation of it. And he was kind of a loner cat.
Yep, and we find out that this cat is in fact the guardian of the dead, which Francis actually sticks around and follows him into this like tunnel thing, and there's all these like, oh, and Bluebeard shows up out of the blue, falling down this like cobwebby thing, and they both end up in this room, the circular room where um, this cat, I believe, the cat is voiced by Michael Ironsides. I believe this is the cat in which that they call. Uh, Let me see. I believe he is called Jasaja.
In German, his name was Jesaja, and I think, okay, I'm not sure. I'm
Josiah.
actually trying
Josiah.
to. Yeah, I think that was supposed to be like the German version of the name of the prophet Isaiah from the Bible. I'm actually
Okay.
looking it
But
up now to see.
in here, his voice was voiced by Michael Ironside. Um, and this particular character was rescued by Claudantus at the beginning of like the whole like serum thing, and he gave him a place to kind of be a guardian of all the cats that were being used in this experiment to kind of hide them from the can openers. You know
But it
that this
wasn't the
was
can openers that. I mean, it was one can opener that started it, but then it became a cat finished it.
well, yeah,
Uh,
because I believe it was Claudantus who continued the work. Um,
yeah, although I must say one thing, once the whole agenda was revealed, one thing left me confused. Like, if his goal was to start this race of super cats and all that, what was the point of him starting the whole cult thing? Like, how did that help him achieve anything?
Well, because I believe that Claudantis actually believed in this serum, and as he said in the end, he really thought that he was good, or that he was doing good things, but it wasn't until
He's
he.
he's the he's the typical uh villain that thinks what they're doing is good, that they're not a villain, that they're like the hero, you know. He
Uh,
says like Lex Luthor thinks, you know,
Who, who
that what they
thinks
do is for good.
yeah, but
things to make it look like he's good?
yeah, but still, what did he gain by making other cats worship him as some sort of saint or something?
Because it was he wanted help with his plans and stuff.
The
You know
other thing you got to remember.
what better way to have minions than ones that worship you and follow you around like a god? You know, I mean, having minions is one thing, but having people worship you is even better. They'll do anything for you.
Well, and also you got to remember that this is a German animation, so the fact that this is a genealogy thing where they're trying to make this super race of cats. Okay, think about German history and what Germans did to the Jewish people. They were trying to
Yeah,
make a super race of Germans.
Superhumans, only blonde hair, blue eyes, and that's it.
Yep.
yeah, I was reminded of that too.
So it kind of goes hand
I
in
may be blonde haired and blue eyed, but I do not agree.
hand. But it is. Do you guys think it's kind of coincidental that it kind of somewhat coincides with German history?
Actually,
I actually never thought about it until you brought it up now.
I thought I assumed that it was intentional, like they were trying to make that cat like a cat version of Hitler or something.
Well, also I forgot to mention that Joker was in fact missing for a time. The leader of the Claudantis cult.
Well, yeah, because we find out that, and then we find out that Joker was killed.
Yeah, which I think Bluebeard actually went in and tried to figure out where he was,
But yeah,
and
they both did. They both went into
Francis
his house.
and
They both
Francis
went
said,
in.
"Well, you were always looking up." So he went, climbed a tree, and looked down and found Joker sitting on a shelf. And I believe he was. What did he say that he was? He was in fact assassinated or something like that. Or what was the name
Uh,
that he said?
what maybe sacrificed? I think
Yeah,
they.
sacrificed.
True.
Regardless, it made Francis want to go back to talk to Pascal, um, which um, he did go on the computer. I'm trying to think what he found on the computer. What did he find on
Oh,
the computer?
huh, yeah, I can't recall either.
Uh, let's see. At a point, I know that he calls a Pascal. He calls Pascal Claudantis, and he doesn't deny it. Um, uh, oh, that's right. Okay, so he threatens. he finds out that Claudantus is terminally ill with stomach cancer. And he threatens to delete all the information that he's collected of the serum, of the cats, of Felidae, of everything, and it threatens to delete it all. And Pascal just kind of like snaps, and they have a battle, kind of, which kind of reminds me of like the battle between Scar and
Simba,
uh,
yeah.
Simba in The Lion King.
Yeah, it was very similar to that actually. Okay, let's see what year wow, the Lion
1993.
King is actually from 1994 too, at least Google says so. What did you say? 1993.
Yeah, I was thinking 1993, 1994. So it's very, it's very like the last battle between Scar
Ye-
and Simba. So
yes.
I mean, you see Claudiantus like leaping at him through the fire. You see them scratching at each other, and um, but here's one thing that does not happen in the Lion King. Simba does not take his claws and like completely spill Scar's guts, and the guts spill out, and you see the skeleton underneath Claudantus, and it's kind of a bloody scene. Um, and also, Bluebeard has somehow during this whole thing been scratched to shit, which you said that Wikipedia said that he was injured, whereas me, I saw way too much blood for him to come back from that.
Yeah, actually, when they were, I think when they split up in that house, we saw a shadow of something attacking Bluebeard, and then we didn't see what happened to him until he was found unconscious and with blood and all that. And yeah, I also thought that he was dead, but yeah, I looked it up on Wikipedia and it said that he was injured. And when I looked up further, it turns out that there are more books in the series. Apparently, only the first one was adapted into a movie, but Bluebeard apparently appears in other books too. So I guess he is alive.
Okay. Well, not looking to be alive in here, but evidently Zebo's house burns down, and we see that Francis is in fact going off with that race of city cats that, or a city female cat that he had sex with earlier. um, and he says something to the fact, well, murders do happen in this world, and life goes on. So basically. So, did anyone else have anything to say about anything that we have talked about? Tammy, did you have anything to say about anything
Oh,
in
it was
particular?
just it was a very interesting story that that these cats were masterminds of all this. It's just, you know.
Well,
So
yeah, it was definitely intriguing that they were. Uh, it was all goes back to this Claudantus character, and he thought he was doing good by creating this race of super cats. And I do believe that the cat that um, Francis had sex with was actually part of that race or whatnot. In fact, it was
Hmm.
um, implied that this was like part of that Felidae race. Um, which is what Felidae is. It's that middle ground kitty, you know. But at the end of everything, what did y'all think about the uh, production of this film? Let's start with you, Crow.
Well, like I had said in the beginning, I thought, the animation was really well done. I mean, reminded me a lot of the 80s type animation, which I always enjoyed. Um, there was nothing crazy or over the top in the movie, but it didn't need to be. It told the story in picture form very well, and as we've already mentioned, a few scenes that was like, wow, really kind of um, a little morbid, I guess you'd say. Definitely more than animated movies usually are. More like anime are. So it was definitely they definitely pushed the boundaries a little bit in that aspect of what they showed. Um, yeah, it's definitely not movies for kids. Like I said, took out a few things. I don't want to be too bad for I'd say 11, 12 year olds or something. But yeah, um, definitely not for little kids. And without taking those scenes, no, definitely not for that age either. Uh,
Mm.
so, but yeah, the story was pretty awesome, and like I said, the production was good. The voice work was great. I loved it. Definitely, really added to the story and made it believable. Very entertaining.
I
I'm
do want
done.
to. I do want to say before I ask you others about what y'all thought of the production that the film failed at the German box office at the time due to poor marketing, as the English version has not been widely released in any English-speaking country,
Oh,
aside from a hard-to-find VHS in Australia, possibly due to the movie's strong violence and sexual content. The dub was, however, included on the German and French DVD releases and has since been uploaded in its entirety onto YouTube. The soundtrack was released on a 16-track CD. The title song, Felidae, was sung by Boy George and co-written by him and John Themis. So, going into production, Boris, what did you think about it?
I also thought it was pretty good. The animation, yeah, it was very good. Okay, Kroll compares it to animation of the 80s. Now, I must say I never analyzed the uh, animation styles so much to be able to tell something like that, but fair enough. It was also, as Kroll says, very gruesome at particular moments, which was shocking. But I don't really think it's a bad thing because, like I said, it's good that I can use a movie like this as a counter argument when someone calls me childish for liking some animated stuff. And yeah, it was indeed an interesting story, like with cats having all that human stuff, like violence, crime, detectives, religions, things like that. It was definitely very interesting. Had its funny moments too, like cats using computers and stuff like that. I really liked it a lot when it comes to that. And since we were already discussing about whether it's for children or not, well, I would say it's not. What I wanted to say, since I made a comparison to the novel version of 101 Dalmatians, uh, it this reminded me in that novel which it was released in 1956, and I think at that time it was considered a novel for children. Yet in the novel, that detail was removed from the movies. But in the novel, there is a moment when Cruella brags to the dearest that in the book she has a cat, and she brags how she killed every kitten that her cat ever had. And when the cat is talking to the dogs, she says it was a total of 44 kittens altogether, which I was 17 years old when I read that book, and I found myself thinking, holy shit, I would have been mentally scarred if I had read this as a kid. So that kind of left me wondering how that was ever considered okay for children, but oh well. But
Okay.
back to this movie, yeah, I think that's pretty much it about the production.
Okay. What about you, Tammy?
I thought the production was pretty decent. There really isn't. When it's animation, you don't have any need for any extra stuff because it's animation. You know.
Yeah.
Um. So I thought the storyline was pretty decent, and it was totally a different concept of a film. As a being a murder mystery of cats, told told by a cat. So it's definitely a unique approach for a story. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay. What did y'all think about Boy George's Felidae? The
That's fine.
music.
I don't have any problem with Boy George.
I actually kind of liked it. It kind of reminded me of like never ending story type music. Just a little bit.
Mm.
Boy George was great back in the day.
That being said, let's talk about favorite scenes and or favorite
You
characters.
really wanna hurt me? Yes, we really wanna hurt you. That was Up a Shit Creek, right? No, Without a Paddle. That was the name of it. Without a Paddle. Love that movie. Oh, it was hilarious.
So, Crow, if you had a favorite scene and or favorite character, who would it be?
Well, Francis is my favorite character, and I don't know. I guess I'll have to go with the I'll go with two because I usually do. I have to go with even though I really liked Felicity and it was sad she died, but it was very memorable him looking down and seeing her head detached from her body. um, so and plus it makes for good jokes. Okay, not good jokes, but tasteless jokes that I thought were funny. um, so I have to say that was memorable. Not really favorite, but definitely very memorable scene. But I guess the finale, the fight where our main character actually doesn't run away. He actually fights, and he fights well, and he wins. Um, not without some loss of blood and some scratches here and there, but yeah, he wins in the end, and it was a pretty decent fight. And the reveal was really well done too. And I like how they revealed it instead of the villain revealing it. A hero figures it out and says it. And then the villain confirms it, and then goes into his, "This is why I did it." this is speech that Jones always knew. But of course, he actually um, wanted Francis to take over for him because he's getting old and he needs to pass his work down to someone younger. Unfortunately for him, Francis is completely disgusted by it and refuses. So we have our showdown, and yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Everywhere else in the movie when he had a chance to fight, although he was always outnumbered too, so that might have been part of it. Um, but he always ran, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But just saying, he never ran. He always ran. But this time he actually stayed. He fought, and he won. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. What about you, Tammy? Favorite favorite scene and or favorite character?
Well, I like the naughty little vixen at the end, or towards the end. I liked her.
Felicity was better.
Well, Felicity was cool, but Felicity was cool. The one at the end, was a naughty little vixen. I liked her.
She was.
And favorite scene? Um, I don't know. There was actually a couple of them I thought were really good, but um, I have to go with Kroll on the one. I do like how he finally did fight. Um, because we always did see him leaving the scene of a confrontation, but like Kroll said too, all the other times he was outnumbered, so it's obvious like why he left the scene of the confrontation. You know, but I guess I kind of like the scene with what's the name of the one that's the keeper of the dead?
Jezaya.
I kind of liked his story and how he said what was it was so sad, but what was why he was there and everything, and what his duty was. You know, it was really kind of touching.
It was kind of because he seemed like he still believed in Claudantus and the good that he was doing at the time, and he seemed like he really enjoyed keeping the dead coming to so that he could guard them, or he enjoyed his duties, you know. And
Right.
I think he was kind of an innocent, you know.
Mm,
Yes.
What are you pretty much done then?
Yep.
Okay. How about you, Boris? Favorite scene and or favorite characters?
favorite character probably Francis, although who knows, based on what I've heard of how Bluebeard is portrayed in the dub, maybe he would have been my favorite because of all the sarcasm and stuff you mentioned that I didn't notice in the
I didn't
German.
know sarcasm. I thought he was just a dumbass.
Y- yeah, but you say that he had a lot of funny lines throughout the movie.
Yeah, he did. I liked Bluebeard.
Uh, yeah, so maybe I should see the dub too and see what I would think of his character there. But yeah, my favorite character is Francis, and my favorite scene probably also the final fight. I would have also liked the scene with Felicity if it hadn't ended the way it did. When they had that conversation, I also hoped there would be some romance developing between them. And yeah, it
I
ended.
actually was just thinking that, Boris, that I would have said Felicity, had she been actually been in the movie longer. Um, but yeah, fortunately we didn't get to see much of her, but I really liked her character. And
Yeah,
I actually liked uh what's his name? The bad guy too. I really like him too. So
huh.
until the reveal, of course.
Yeah. And of of course the scene when Felicity was found dead was it was well done, but it was, at least to me, the most shocking scene. But I cannot say it was one of my favorites because I don't really like to see dead cats even
Well, like I said,
anyway.
it wasn't my favorite. It was just the most memorable. I just had to mention it because it was so memorable.
Uh,
It was
yeah,
very well done.
yeah, that much is true. Uh, so yeah, the final fight would probably be my favorite scene too. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, the part about when they just started to use a computer. I liked that part too because just the idea of cats using computers is hilarious. Uh, so yeah, I guess that would be it.
Okay. And uh my favorite scenes would probably be I didn't mind seeing the gore. I thought it was a little bit different. Um, I liked the reveal of Francis saying that the cats were before they were murdered, that they were excited or at the moment of excitement. I thought that was odd. Um, and I did enjoy the scene between him and the naughty cat. Uh, and I did enjoy the final battle, but I also enjoyed the whole mystery noirness of the film. So there's a lot that I like. As far as favorite characters, I do like Francis, but I do like Bluebeard as well. For some reason, I liked the fact that he said, "Oh, you moved into that new house. I peed in there a couple of times."
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that was in the German version too.
So he was always calling him smartass, at least in the dub.
Yeah,
Um,
and he was always spraying everywhere he went. It's like Bluebeard was here. Bluebeard was here.
oh, and he had he had something to do with food. Of course,
Oh, he loves food.
Tammy would look at me whenever he was eating.
That's funny. As soon as you mentioned Bluebeard, that you liked Bluebird, when I first got into the or I saw his name, I'm like, yeah, Bluebeard does remind me of a Dave cat.
He was always hungry like a Dave cat.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because I remembered seeing him sitting in the kitchen sink with Francis, and he was commenting how his can opener owner uh, uh, did a nice fish meal or whatnot. And of course, he's got the darn thing in his mouth and it's all bloody. So, but yeah, I do like the ultimate outcome, and I wouldn't have minded seeing more films based on this series just to see where it would go. But
Yeah.
knowing that there were 8 books in the series and only one thing came out of it, that is actually kind of sad, you know.
Yes, it is.
Well, it always kicks me out at least once.
But that being said, is there anything else that anybody wanted to say about the film before we complete our journey? I did want to say that the screenwriters, let's see, the screenplay was actually, in fact, by Akif Princi and Martin Kluger. It was produced by Hannah Hoop, and I guess in the original German subtitle, these were the actors: Ulrich Tucker, Mario Adorf, Heiga Schneider, Uwe Oschensnecht, Klaus Maria Brandauer. Cinematography was by Werner Luce. It was edited by Klaus Bassler. The music itself was by Ann Dudley, and the production company of this animation was in fact by Trick Company, Fontana. Evidently, it was distributed by Senator Film Distribution, and it had a budget of 10 million. In US, that was 5 million. So, and apparently that was a very expensive budget at the time. So, what's sad is it didn't really go well at the German box office, which, as you know, box offices matter in the film world, where it doesn't really matter to us.
Yeah.
So, hopefully you all have enjoyed our discussion on this film.
Uh, Sorry, I just wanted to say something funny.
Okay.
As we are having this discussion in another group chat on Facebook that I'm a member of, someone who doesn't know that I'm discussing this movie, they probably don't even know about the movie existing, but they said, I want the apocalypse where cats devour every human being. Like, I think it's a pretty funny coincidence that someone in the group chat I'm a member of said that while we are discussing this movie.
Okay. Well, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed our discussion on this film. Like, share, and subscribe. And who is next on our list of who gets to choose the next film? Is it you, Boris?
Actually, I think it's me, yeah, and I must say I haven't decided what it's going to be. I think I did have something on my mind, but then I forgot what it was, so I'm gonna have to find it.
Okay. Well, definitely let us know before, at least by midweek,
I
at
w-
least.
I will.
Um, and we'll see you next Sunday then, folks, as we figure out what next we have in store for you. But let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion, and everyone say good night.
Good night.
And take care of those fur babies. You don't want them starting to kill each other, or
Or try to kill humans.
or as they call us, the can openers.